Welcome to our Intuitive Empath Empowerment Series. Be sure to watch the whole video because we're going to give you a fun empath quiz.
Yes! This series is an introduction to our spiritual healing and intuitive development courses.
And make sure that you catch all of the videos in this series with the link below for all the juicy empathic empowerment goodness.
Wherever you are in your journey, we are here to help.
And for those of you who are just getting to know us,
I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
ZenMostGarden.com.
And that would also happen to be the home of our Intuitive Awakening community and Zen Ed Academy.
As you come on, let us know where you're watching from. Represent your hood.
And if you have any questions as we go, be sure to drop them in the comments. Bam.
First, empathy is the ability to feel what other people feel.
Right? But scoring too high on empathy may lead to being overly emotional and probably a little bit anxious.
So let's get into the quiz. Here is how it works. We're going to ask you a series of 10 questions. For each answer, you write down a number, 1 through 5. Okay? At the end of the quiz, you will add up those numbers to get your score.
Don't worry, we're going to demonstrate with this first question.
So, David, let's give you question number 1. Question number 1. I like animals more than people and get extra emotional when animals are in pain. Is it 1, never, 2, sometimes, 3, often, 4, very often, or 5, always?
I would probably have to say often. I would go with number 3.
Okay, so David would write down a number 3. So, okay,
3.
See what I mean?
There you go.
So on and so forth. You write down the number, and at the end, you're going to add up all those numbers, and that's going to be your score.
And we'll break down the score at the end.
Yes.
If you want to share your scores in the comments, we would love to see them. Or if you just want to drop the number to each question as we go, that would be fine too.
All right, here are the questions. Number 1, I like animals more than people and get extra emotional when animals are in pain. Is it 1, never, 2, sometimes, 3, often, 4, very often, or 5, always? Write down your number.
Number 2, I encourage others to share their feelings. Does this resonate with you as 1, never, 2, sometimes, 3, often, 4, very often, or 5, always?
Write down your number. And question number 3, I am mindful of other people's feelings. Is that number 1, never? Number 2, sometimes. Number 3, often. Number 4, very often. Or number 5, always.
And moving on to number 4, people say I get overly emotional. Number 1, never. Number 2, sometimes. Number 3, often. Number 4, very often. And number 5, always.
Write down your number. Number 5, question number 5. I am a people pleaser and have a really hard time saying no if someone needs help. Is that for you? 1, never. 2, sometimes. 3, often. 4, very often. And 5, always. Write down your number.
And moving on to number 6, I am overwhelmed and anxious. Number 1, never. Number 2, sometimes. Number 3, often. Number 4, very often. Or number 5, always.
Write your number down. And on to question number 7. People open up easily to me. Is that number 1, never? 2, sometimes. 3, often. Number 4, very often. Or 5, always. Write your number down.
And number 8, I do not like crowds or big parties, and I like to be alone or maybe with 1 or 2 friends. 1, never. 2, sometimes. 3, often. 4, very often. Or 5, always.
Write your number down. Number 9, I read between the lines.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that 1, never? Is that 2, sometimes? Is that 3, often? 4, very often? Or 5, always?
Write down your number. Number 10, and the last one on this quiz. I cry at anything that is sad. Wah.
Like we're out of wine.
Oh, that makes me cry. Number 1, never. Number 2, sometimes. Number 3, often. Number 4, very often. Or number 5, always. Write down your number. And now it's time to add those numbers up.
Now pause this video and add your numbers up.
There it is.
If you scored 40 to 50, you have very high empathy. In this category, people can feel other people's emotional states even before they speak.
Sometimes before they're even in the same room. Others tend to come to you when they have a problem and you are willing to give that shoulder to cry on. Unfortunately, it is not always a two-way street, and you might feel drained and overwhelmed, possibly even resentful, even though you're probably the kind of person to keep it to yourself.
Right. You may attract unhealthy relationships if you don't learn when to say no, right? You can often feel guilty about unintentionally hurting someone's feelings.
Yep. Like not helping. That might make you feel like you hurt their feelings by not helping, by saying no, right? You also overthink and tend to read between the lines and worry if other people are mad at you or think badly of you, even without reason. In fact, you may exhaust way too much energy trying to make sure that that never happens, and this can lead to anxiety.
So if you scored 30 to 40, you have high empathy. This is an above average score. You are warm, caring, and generous. People like spending time with you. You're a good listener who is genuinely interested in people, and you're mindful as to how your actions affect others.
You love company more than you love being alone. You might avoid confrontations and are good at keeping the peace and negotiations. You are not necessarily overly sensitive, but you do make more allowance for emotions. In fact, you make more decisions based on emotions than facts. In fact, hashtag facts.
It's factual. Now, if you scored 20 to 30, this is average. This is most people. You can feel for others, but are not overly sensitive. You support others, but you don't neglect yourself to do it. You know that to be a help for others, you need to see to your wellness first.
You also judge people based on their actions and not your feelings about their potential, which they may or may not be living up to. You are mindful of other people's feelings.
So if you scored 10 to 20, this is low empathy. Generally, you just don't get people, which is me on some days, but especially when they get extra emotional. You are pretty rational and practical, and you keep to yourself. You might have a few friends, but they are more logical like you. Not particularly warm, but not particularly douchebags either.
And if you scored 0 to 10, this is very low empathy. If you have very low empathy, you might not play well with others. You might also be very productive, though, because you have a high capacity for separating from other people's drama.
This is great on one hand, but you may be a bit crabby and confrontational and need to soften up and improve your people skills a bit if you want to develop better relationships or any relationships.
Yeah. So don't forget to catch all of the videos in this series using the link below to get a better understanding of your empathic abilities.
In the next episode, we're going to talk about empath childhood trauma, how to heal and find your real normal empathy level.
And if you've gotten something valuable today and you want more, you might be interested in our free Intuitive Awakening community, where we specialize in helping awakening empaths, intuitives, and psychics step into confidence and clarity.
If you're ready to level up beyond that, you can check out our metaphysical school and community, Zen Ed Academy.
Be sure to check out the links in the description for both of those and see if that resonates with you. And since you've watched this far, I want you to give yourself a huge pat on the back and congratulations. Light off all the fireworks. You've made it this far. Thank you for hanging out with us. Be sure to check out the goodies we got for you. There's a link in the description below. If you like this video,
Hit the like button.
hit it hard. And if you want to see more videos like this,
Be sure to subscribe
and spank the naughty bell to turn notifications on
so you're the first to know
when we drop a new video
or go live.
And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource. The fact that you guys have chosen to spend that with us, we honor and appreciate that. But more importantly, that you are here to level up your life, your mind, your skills, and take everything to a whole new level. We honor and appreciate that even more. Be sure to check out all these other videos over here. Binge on them to your heart's content. I'm sure you can figure out where they are. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
See you in the next video.